Hey there, it's Jim and Debbie with another episode of the Midday Minute. Debbie, how's it going?
Jim, it's going great. Here we are again. Another
Yes, here we
episode,
are. And on
episode
this
31.
that's right, we're on number 31, and on this one, we will be talking about the Most Valuable Student Contest, which kicks off on August 5th. And we're going to have Coleen Conrad on the show to tell us what's going to be different this year.
I know, I'm super excited to have her back.
Spoiler alert, a lot. But before we get to that, we have a contest winner to announce.
We sure do. John Fauser is this week's winner of a $50 soft credit. So congratulations, John. Just let us know how you'd like to have that credited.
Yeah, John, all he did was commented on episode number 30 using the hashtag ENF Midday, and he was randomly selected as our $50 soft credit winner. All you got to do, John, is tell us in the comments below or by emailing enf@elks.org. Tell us how you would like us to apply that soft credit, which ENF funded program would you like to support? Thanks for watching the show. Yeah, it's that easy. Now, what are you watching today? We'll have an opportunity to win $50 by commenting on this episode of the Minute with the hashtag ENF Midday. That's all it takes.
That's all it takes.
So, I think all it takes to get going with the next segment of the show is for us to welcome Coleen Conrad back. Coleen, this is, I think, our third time popping onto the show since we started this new format. Hey, Coleen, welcome back again.
Some might call her best friend of the show.
Best friend of the show.
I'm honored. That's right. This is number 3.
Welcome back.
Excellent.
Yeah, it's good to have you back.
I hope the 3 highest rated episodes, probably, correct?
No doubt.
Well, who can say? Hey, so August 5th, Most Valuable Student Contest kicks off. And as we promised at the top of the show, we're going to tell people about the changes. What's different? What's going to be different this year?
Great question. I honestly can't believe it's already time for the 2021 contest. Honestly, it seems like just yesterday we were, Zooming like this with our 2020 top 20. And now we're already looking ahead to 2021. So we have some really exciting changes happening with the MVS contest this year. The most exciting, I think, for our volunteers being that we're moving our judging process in-house. And ENF, Elks.org is now hosting the platform in which all of our judges will use to score applications. So it's really exciting. It's been exciting to see this come from nothing and turn into this really exciting tool that I'm so excited to show off to our volunteers.
Yeah, we started planning last August, almost a year ago for this, which is really incredible when you think about it, right?
Yeah, definitely. I can't believe it. So I think first and foremost, that's what I'm most excited about change-wise for the 2021 contest, that volunteers will be able to use their elks.org account. They won't need to register another place. They won't need to use and learn another website. They can go on to elks.org, which they already know, and just hop on and go.
And yeah, the nice thing is that the judging platform has been designed by people who know the Elks. They work for the Elks. They're at our beck and call, and they built something that's going to feel very similar, I think, to the other platforms that they've designed for Elks.org, such as the grants
dashboard and the Hoop Shoot dashboard. So it's nice to have it based on the Elks.org platform in that regard.
Right.
You got
it. Now, obviously, as you mentioned, Zoom, we had the Zoom Leadership Weekend. Everybody's been adapting to this new normal, and things are a little uncertain for the fall. So we've needed to make a change to our scoring rubric. Why don't we talk a little bit about that?
That's right. Obviously, like you mentioned, the new normal and the global pandemic, kind of happening last spring, we really had to make a decision about, for our applicants for 2021 who were juniors in last spring, the ACT and SAT testing dates were kind of getting pushed back. And as we saw that, we also saw more and more colleges waiving the requirement for admission and not needing SAT or ACT scores in order to apply to their schools. So those two factors alone, helped us make the decision for our students and our applicants this year that we will not be requiring an ACT or an SAT score for the academic portion of the MBS contest. We'll rely on GPA, class rank, and class schedule rigor, much as we always have, and also rely on our counselors to kind of report on that for their applicants. So no more test scores. That's one less thing our students have to worry about in this new normal.
So you say no more test scores. Now we're looking we're considering that a short-term change for this year that could become a long-term change, or have we already decided it's a long-term change?
Yeah, for right now, I think, and Debbie can echo or, add in, but right now we're thinking that this is a 2021 and then perhaps a 2022 change just based on, kind of the upending of lives that have happened for our high school students this past year and the ripple effect that makes. So for sure the next year, maybe the next after, and then we need to reassess and see, how we want to use those scores if we do.
More and more schools are making tests optional. And some of the big systems, like the UC system, the University of California system, has actually suspended them for 4 years, given the pandemic, and they are going to reevaluate. It might even be 4 or 5, and they're going to reevaluate at the end of that time frame to see if they're going to, reintroduce them. So, and also just so all of our viewers know, it's been an eligibility criteria for as long as I can remember, that standardized test scores were required. So it's a big change for us, for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
So we've modified the rubric a little bit. That's another thing people can look forward to, right? We needed to adapt the system to accommodate that change, right?
Right. Yeah. Right.
What else can people look forward to?
So this year they can look forward to the deadline for the MBS application being a little bit later. That deadline is November 15th. And then that council report deadline is November 22nd. So we're pushing it back a little later than last year. And then also too, our volunteers can anticipate deadlines for judging around the holidays. So right now we don't have any of our judging deadlines happening during Christmas or New Year's.
That'll be nice. Yeah.
That'll be nice.
Well, speaking of the contest deadline, we've been trying to find the sweet spot, and it seemed last year we probably tried to push it a bridge too far, and applications were down. So we're pulling back a little bit, and hopefully we found a better date for our students.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
Now, when you say
sorry, I was going to say, we've talked about this before, but when we plan these timelines, right, we're starting from the end of the contest. So we're starting from the leadership weekend, and then we work our way back from that, which makes it a little hard.
We start from that May 1st, decision day, right? So we need to have the leadership weekend needs to be happen before that May 1st decision date.
Right.
And then we work backwards from there, right?
Right.
There's a lot of logistics we have to take into account for the leadership weekend. And then, we kind of work backward. And, the only way we could allow more time for judging was by moving the contest deadline up.
Right.
Basically shortening the application window was the only way to allow for more time for our judges. And so we're trying to find that sweet spot. But I like that we found a solution that doesn't require our judges to be working over the holidays.
Yeah, definitely. I like that too. And also just to reiterate, as a national scholarship provider and a national contest, it's hard to fit all those pieces together, and time just moves so fast. It seems like a large swath of time to get a lot done, but really it's not. We're packing it in. We have just enough time to do everything we need to. And it's also in line with a lot of other national scholarship providers, industry leaders that also have a timeline quite similar to ours.
Correct.
So our judges, our volunteer judges are getting a more flexible window in which to judge and a more friendly interface to use while judging, right?
That's right.
They seem to be the big winners in all of this.
Yeah, exactly. Right? It's exciting. And also too, they're also getting a new friendly face in the scholarship office to help them with that whole process. We recently hired Jessica Carter, who's a 2015 Most Valuable Student National finalist. She's from the area, went to Northwestern University, and has joined our team and has just hit the ground running. She's done a wonderful job.
We're excited to have her on board for sure.
Yeah. Much like the what we saw in the SIP, where we had an entirely new staff last year. Same thing happening in scholarships. You started at convention, right, last year?
That's right. Yeah.
I mean, well,
almost
you
a year
moved from
ago.
SIP to scholarships.
Yeah.
And then now 2 new people. One because of the fellow, obviously, John's fellowship ended on July 2nd, and now the new fellow will be starting in August, right?
That's
and
right.
then Jessica replaced somebody who left in March.
Exactly. Yeah. So new fresh faces, new team, and both, Elks scholars, which is very exciting. Both are just brilliant young women who are passionate about being Elks scholars and passionate about making connections with the volunteers and with fellow Elks scholars. So our fellow Grace Roebuck is starting virtually in August, and then here in the office, well, actually not here, this is my house, but in our office, fingers crossed, September. And she was actually in town this weekend looking at apartments in Chicago. So that was exciting. I got a chance to see her masks on,
with her mother, and
Yep.
And wanted to show her mom her office where she hopes to be working in the fall, right? So
yeah,
Colleen was at the office yesterday, as was I and a few other staff members. I think there were only 5 of us total on the foundation side as we kind of do this gradual reopening of the building.
Yep.
But Grace was there with her mom. That's fun.
Yeah, it was great. So I'm excited. 2021 is going to be, exciting for our scholars, exciting for the office, and exciting for the volunteers. Some great changes ahead.
Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, a lot of work has gone into this, and like Jim said, the volunteers are certainly the winners here, and we'll be there along the way to provide guidance and tell us. I don't know if you mentioned the new coordinator position, and for lodges that are going to participate in the process, what do they need to do?
Yeah, that's a great question. So with these changes also comes a little bit of a change for our volunteers and our lodge secretaries. So what used to be the scholarship chair position is now called the NVS coordinator position. So any lodge that would like to participate in lodge judging needs to appoint an NVS coordinator. So instructions are going out to every lodge in our physical annual mailing, which should be dropping next week. And then also emails are going out to chairs from last year in case they're planning on being involved with the contest this year. And then also all of the lodge secretaries were emailed those instructions as well. So it's a simple appointment process, much like our grants coordinator's position, and it's instant. So once you are the MVS coordinator, you are able to kind of get to all of our resources and then eventually get to the new MVS portal when the time comes.
And it's really important to have the lodge sign that individual up, because Colleen and her staff will be sending weekly emails, MVS to you emails they'll contain all the information that volunteer needs to have a successful contest from the beginning to the end.
That's right. Yeah, I know.
Nuts.
Exactly. Soup to nuts. I know that this, this show has a wide audience. Those emails also have a wide audience. So, and the only way you can get those weekly emails is by being an MVS coordinator.
All right. And it sounds like there's going to be just a lot more choice this year in general, right? A lodge can choose to judge. We would prefer that they judge. That's what we want them to do. The system is designed to have judges looking at the application. But if they don't want to or can't find the volunteers to do it, our system will take care of that for the lodge. And even if they decide to judge, there's elements that they can decide that they don't need to look at themselves. Is that correct?
That's right. I can't believe I almost forgot to mention this. I'm so sorry. There's so many changes and so many exciting changes for our volunteers that I almost forgot this one. Yeah, so with our new MVS portal, we're also kind of for the first time in the online format allowing our judges to decide if they want to score the full application, so academics, financial need, and leadership, or pick and choose which of those sections they'd like to look at and score. And so that gives, lodge coordinators, district coordinators, and even state coordinators the freedom to decide if they'd like to have their committee look at the full application or use our scores for any part of them. So that's exciting.
Right. And that'll be the option at each level of judging. So
That's
you don't have to rely on the objective scores that our system will calculate if you would prefer to do it yourself. And you can choose to have the system judge part of the application and not all of it. So it just seems like hopefully, the system is designed to make everybody happy, which we know is impossible, but we really think we've done it.
I think so.
Knock on some wood, please.
Yeah.
We are confident.
We believe we've
We
actually
believe.
successfully, we are going to make everybody happy.
Yeah,
Oh.
I think definitely. You know, when we look at our surveys and look at the feedback we've gotten in the past, I think that, you know, it's a national contest. We have a wide range of opinions and wide range of passions. And, you know, I think that this solution kind of helps anyone who's looking to either go all in or, you know, utilize the objective score and kind of do what they want. So I'm excited.
Right. All right, Colleen, any final words?
No, August 5th is the big day, and we'll start communicating more with our MVS coordinators, like Debbie said, around that time. And, you know, you can always contact the scholarship office by emailing scholarship@elks.org if you have any questions about the changes we just went through.
We'll be posting all of that online shortly, right?
Correct, yeah.
Great.
Yeah, and by the way, check out the scholar portion of the elks.org website if you haven't been there recently, because it got a facelift last spring, right?
Yeah, it did. We kind of redid our Scholar Web area, which is, you know, primarily for our scholars to kind of learn about what it means to be an Elks scholar and learn more about how they can get involved. And so the scholar service trips are posted there. We have more information about meetups and speakers, and it's cool. Definitely check it out.
We also added an About tab on the scholarship, the public facing section too, in case any members or anybody was just interested in knowing what our scholars have been doing. They can go there and they can find a lot of that information kind of consolidated into one page.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's always good to go to the website, check out, you know, what's posted, and keep on checking it out, because we'll be posting more and more as we get through the contest.
Poke around.
Yeah.
All right, Colleen, thanks.
All right. Thanks,
Bye,
guys.
Colleen.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, Debbie. So we've got lots of other stuff coming down the pike. We're hard at work right now, the communications team, preparing for the second installment in our summer series, which is called Get Social.
Right.
And that's actually going to air next Wednesday at 12 p.m. Central Time. It's going to be more seminar than show, but they are going to have a big interview lined up, right?
Yeah, that's what I hear.
Yeah, it's hush hush, I guess, right?
We shouldn't say anything then?
I don't know. Are we supposed to say anything? I didn't read the email. Did you?
I did read the email, and I think it's fair to say that Deborah McCade Reedy from the Wilton Saratoga New York Lodge is going to be joining them to talk about what she does and how she uses Facebook and other social media platforms to promote the good works that the lodge is doing. So
right.
You want to leverage social media.
Social media can be a great tool to raise your lodge's profile, and that's what we're going to be talking about. And also suggesting some ways you can also promote the ENF as part of that.
Right.
So that is next Wednesday at 12 p.m. Central. And on this Friday, coming up at 10 a.m., we're starting our Take a Break with the ENF series. And the first break is going to be with somebody from the communications department, or maybe both of them, I'm not sure. Yeah. But they're going to be taking questions and answering questions on Facebook Live at 10 a.m. Central on Friday. So check that out. And we're going to be doing more of that as the summer unfolds.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. We've got the comms department starting us off, and then we have the SIP staff's going to be hopping on, scholarships, hoop shoot, development. So
yep.
We've got a good plan going for, for the rest of the summer.
Right. It's going to be a good way to engage with staff, ask questions. It should be fun. Now, next week is also a big week for the Veterans Service Department. It's Veterans Service Week, and they've got stuff going on all week. I encourage you to head to elks.org/vets, and their lead carousel story, I believe right now, is about what's going on for Veterans Service Week. I am especially excited about Trivia Night, which is next Wednesday at 7 p.m. Central. It's military trivia night, and anybody's invited. So we ought to get an ENF team and go clean up.
We totally should. I don't know if I would be an asset in that regard, but I'm willing to try. Hey, it'd be super cool if we could land the director of the Veteran Service Department to come on over and join us on the minute.
Well, we are hoping to get Mary Morgan on the show next week to help to defend, if only to defend her title as best friend of the show.
Yeah.
Because Colleen is really gunning for it.
She really is.
And we're still in the midst of the hamper hoop shoot. So we encourage you to find a wadded up pair of socks and shoot them at something in the house while somebody else is taking video of that. Post it anywhere you want on social media with the hashtag hamper hoop shoot, one word, and tag the Elks National Foundation. You'll be entered into a contest. Some lucky person is going to win a pretty cool prize. And if I knew what that pretty cool prize was, I would tell you what it is.
Yeah,
All
me too.
I can assure you that it's going to be pretty cool. I just don't know what it is.
Of course it will be. It's
Right.
the summer of prizes.
Right. Anything else, Debbie, before we say goodbye?
Heading into the office tomorrow, so I'm looking forward to that. State grant season, so we got to get those checks out the door to our state associations so that they we can help them do their charitable endeavors. So
Right.
I'll be doing that, checking in on
All
some
told,
stuff.
this summer we'll be sending about $10 million out the door in state grants.
Right. Yep.
It's one of the biggest things we do.
Yes, and exactly. One of the biggest things we do that, and we don't talk about it all that much, but if you're interested in finding out more, go to enf@elks.org and look at the ENF in your state section of the website.
Right.
So.
Okay. That's all we got. Don't forget to comment on today's episode with the hashtag ENF Midday. So you'll be entered in a contest to win a $50 soft credit to the ENF funded program of your choice. If you've liked this episode of the show, give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down if you didn't. Either way, please share it far and wide with your social network. And if you're not a subscriber already, consider subscribing and tap that bell so you'll be notified every time we post new content. Thanks for tuning in.
Stay safe.
Bye.